Are you ready for this? This week's crypto deep dive is locked and loaded with insights you absolutely need to hear. We're breaking down a recent episode of The Crypto Architect, hosted by a guy who turned a small crypto investment into millions.
Yeah, and then lost it all.
Right. And then somehow bounced back even stronger. So, this isn't some random influencer. He's been through the ringer and come out swinging.
He's got the scars to prove it, that's for sure. But more importantly, he's got the knowledge. And that's what we're here to dig into, his insights on everything, from Bitcoin's next move to the hottest new DeFi projects.
Exactly. So buckle up because things are about to get interesting. First up, let's talk Bitcoin. It's been kind of quiet lately, but there are signs that things are heating up.
Yeah, he's pretty fired up about Bitcoin right now, especially with how it's been performing compared to this one key indicator.
He's talking about the 200-day simple moving average, right?
Exactly. Bitcoin just blasted past that. Now, I know that might sound like a bunch of technical jargon.
Yeah, it doesn't have been intimidating.
But it's actually pretty simple. Historically, when Bitcoin breaks above this average, it often means one thing. The bulls are back in town.
Meaning, we could be in for a wild ride upwards. No wonder he's excited.
Exactly. And if you think that's wild, get this. October has historically been Bitcoin's strongest month.
Really? Stronger than even, the spring craze?
Historically, yep. And if that trend holds true, we're talking about a potential run towards $79,000.
Whoa. Okay, so big potential gains on the horizon. But even beyond the price predictions, there's something else that caught my attention. The idea that Bitcoin could be way more useful in our daily lives soon.
You're talking about this new development called Fractal, right?
Yeah, Fractal. It sounds kind of complex. What's it all about?
Well, imagine trying to merge onto a packed highway during rush hour, right? Total chaos. Now, imagine someone comes along and adds a whole new lane that's faster and smoother. That's essentially what Fractal does for Bitcoin. It's a layer 2 solution that makes transactions faster, cheaper, and more efficient. And that opens up a ton of new possibilities.
Like what kind of possibilities are we talking about? Give me an example.
DeFi, for one. Remember, DeFi is decentralized finance.
Right, like building a whole financial system on the blockchain without needing traditional banks.
Exactly. And Fractal is bringing DeFi to Bitcoin. One project he's really excited about is called Modo. Think of it like a decentralized exchange, kind of like Uniswap, but built directly on Bitcoin. This means you could potentially trade your Bitcoin for other cryptocurrencies without relying on centralized exchanges, all thanks to Fractal.
Okay, that's pretty revolutionary. So faster transactions, DeFi on Bitcoin, it sounds like the OG cryptocurrency is getting a serious upgrade.
Oh, absolutely. And you know who else is noticing? Big institutions. Apparently, there was a massive inflow into Bitcoin ETFs this past week.
How massive are we talking?
I think $365 million. That's institutional money pouring into Bitcoin.
Wow, that's a serious vote of confidence.
Right. And when these big players make a move, it often ripples through the entire market. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Okay, so Bitcoin, big institutions, it's all really interesting stuff. But there are so many other blockchains out there vying for attention.
Oh, absolutely. It's an incredibly dynamic space.
It can get overwhelming trying to keep up with it all, to be honest. This week, though, I really want to focus on two players in particular, Solana and Sui.
Both are known for their speed and scalability, that's for sure.
Exactly. So in this deep dive, we're pitting Solana against Sui in a head-to-head battle to see which one comes out on top. So no easy answer, huh?
It really depends on what you're looking for. It's like comparing a sports car to a super truck. Both have their strengths, but they excel in different areas.
Okay, I like that analogy. So let's break it down. First up, speed. We hear a lot about transactions per second, TPS. What's the verdict? Which one is faster?
Right now, Solana takes the crown when it comes to sheer transaction throughput. I mean, we're talking significantly more transactions per second compared to Sui. It's already handling a lot of real-world usage, which is why it's attracted such a diverse ecosystem of applications.
So Solana is the blockchain you want if speed is your top priority.
For now, yeah. But don't count Sui out just yet. It's a newer blockchain, but it has an aggressive roadmap and is catching up fast. Plus, it has this really interesting feature called faster transaction finality.
Okay, break that down for me. Faster transaction finality. It sounds kind of technical.
Basically, it means that when you make a transaction on Sui, it's considered final and irreversible, much faster than on Solana, like almost instantly. So in terms of absolute certainty and security, Sui has an edge.
Ah, so there are trade-offs with each. Got it. But what about the developers? The ones building all the cool stuff? Who's attracting more talent, Solana or Sui?
Well, Solana definitely has a much larger and more established developer community right now. And a larger community generally means more innovation, more frequent updates, more eyes on the code, all good things, right?
More brains are better than fewer, I suppose. But
Mhm.
does that automatically make Solana the better choice for developers?
Not necessarily. While quantity is important, so is quality, right? And Sui, despite having a smaller community, has attracted some seriously talented developers who are incredibly passionate about the project.
So a smaller but potentially more dedicated and focused community. Interesting. But let's switch gears for a second and talk about the average user like me. Which one is easier to use, Solana or Su?
Honestly, user experience is an area where Solana currently has a clear advantage.
Really? Kind of noticeable, huh?
Yeah, it's generally considered more user-friendly, especially for newcomers. It's just more intuitive and easier to navigate.
So if you're just getting started in crypto, Solana might be a good place to dip your toes in.
Definitely. Now, Sui's team is working hard on improving their user interface and making it more accessible, but it can still feel a bit clunky compared to Solana.
Okay, so Solana wins the user-friendliness battle, for now at least. But let's talk about potential pure upside. One stat really jumped out at me. If Sui were to reach the same market cap as Solana, we're talking a price increase of over 4x.
Yeah, the upside potential with Sui is definitely there. However, and this is a big however, market cap alone doesn't tell the whole story.
Right, right. There's always more to it than just one number.
You got it. And in Sui's case, one thing to keep in mind is its tokenomics, specifically its inflation rate.
Okay, tokenomics, that's the economics of a cryptocurrency, right?
Exactly. And Sui currently has a relatively high inflation rate compared to Solana, which means more Sui tokens are being created over time. This could put downward pressure on the price if demand doesn't keep pace with the increasing supply.
So it's a balancing act, supply and demand. Got it. So Solana and Sui, they both have their pros and cons, it seems.
That's the beauty of the crypto space. There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
All right, so we've talked Bitcoin, we've dug into the Solana versus Sui battle, but we can't forget about the OG king of smart contracts, Ethereum.
Right. Ethereum's been in the game for a while now, but it's still a major player.
Absolutely. It's like the old reliable that just keeps chugging along. And from what I understand, the crypto architect is feeling super bullish on Ethereum's future.
Oh, yeah. Incredibly bullish. In fact, he's predicting a potential 75% surge from current prices.
Oh, 75%? That's huge. That could put Ethereum at, what, almost $5,000?
You got it. Now, a price jump like that might sound a little crazy, but he does make some really compelling arguments.
Okay, so spill the beans. What's got him so fired up about Ethereum?
Well, for starters, the supply and demand dynamics are really interesting right now. With the move to proof of stake, more and more ETH is being locked up in staking contracts.
Right, because people are incentivized to stake their ETH to secure the network and earn rewards.
Exactly. So that takes it out of circulation. And on top of that, you've got the ETH burning mechanism, which permanently removes ETH from the supply with every transaction. Less ETH available, but demand keeps growing. That's a recipe for some serious price appreciation.
Basic economics. Love it when that comes into play. Okay, so supply and demand, check. But what about the big institutions? Are they finally coming around to Ethereum?
They're definitely warming up to it. We've seen major players like BlackRock filing for Ethereum ETFs recently.
Wow, BlackRock, those are some deep pockets.
Exactly. And when institutions like that make a move, it sends a really strong signal to the rest of the market. It says, hey, Ethereum is a legitimate asset class.
And legitimate asset classes tend to attract a lot of attention and money.
Precisely. So between the supply squeeze, increasing demand, and growing institutional interest, there's a lot to be optimistic about when it comes to Ethereum.
For sure. But we'd be remiss if we didn't at least mention the elephant in the room with Ethereum gas fees.
Oh, yeah. Those pesky gas fees.
They can be a real buzzkill, like, oh, I want to use this cool DeFi app, but the transaction fee is half my lunch money.
Huh. I hear you. But here's the thing. Ethereum developers are acutely aware of this issue, and they're working hard on solutions. EIP 4844 is a perfect example.
EIP what now? Sorry, you lost me there.
Sorry. Technical jargon overload. Basically, EIP 4844 is a proposed upgrade that could drastically reduce transaction fees on Ethereum. And if it works as intended, it could be a total game changer.
Okay, so lower fees would be huge. It would make the whole Ethereum ecosystem more accessible.
Absolutely. And it would open up a world of possibilities for new and innovative applications.
I like the sound of that. Speaking of innovative applications, one platform on Ethereum that's caught my eye lately is Maple Finance. They're doing some really cool stuff with real-world assets, or RWAs.
Maple Finance is a great example of how Ethereum is bridging the gap between traditional finance and DeFi. They're essentially tokenizing real-world assets like real estate or bonds.
So you're telling me I could potentially invest in tokenized real estate on the blockchain?
That's the idea. It's still early days, but the potential is huge.
That's wild. It's like the future of finance is being built right before our eyes.
Okay.
Okay, before we wrap things up, I got to ask you about the elephant in the room, or should I say the baby hippo in the room.
You're talking about Mudang.
Mudang, the baby hippo coin. Look, meme coins are a thing, and every week there's a new one making headlines.
They're definitely a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure.
But I gotta be honest, I don't get it. What's the deal with these meme coins? Why are they so popular?
It's a bit of a head-scratcher, isn't it? But I think part of it is the social aspect. People love being part of a community, even if it's based on a silly meme. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good baby hippo?
Okay, fair enough. But are they actually good investments?
Well, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Meme coins are incredibly volatile. They can go up 1,000% one day and crash 99% the next.
So basically gambling.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But hey, some people enjoy that kind of thrill.
To each their own, I guess. But seriously, folks, if you're thinking about jumping on the meme coin bandwagon, just be careful out there. Do your research, understand the risks, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The crypto world is full of exciting opportunities, but it's also a bit of a wild west. So stay informed, be cautious, and have fun out there.
Words to live by in the cryptoverse. And that wraps up this week's Deep Dive. Big thanks to the Crypto Architect for the insights and to all of you for joining us on this journey through the exciting world of crypto.
Until next time, happy investing, everyone.